And here's the deal, is that when your life season changes, you don't keep eating the way that you used to eat. When an embryo is assigned to the womb, that embryo is eating in the womb from the placenta that is connected by an umbilical cord. That's how the baby eats. They don't even eat through their mouth. They're eating through a different mechanism. They're on God's divine IV, as it were. They're receiving all of their nutrition through this miracle called the umbilical cord. That is an incredibly sophisticated system that brings food to the baby and also takes the waste from the baby. So it is a divine excavation system and a nutritional system all at one, and never do they ever cross and allow the waste to contaminate the food supply that is coming. That's the miracle of God, where he is feeding the baby in that season of their life. But then when the baby is birth comes, and the baby is now all of a sudden in a different season of life. They're in a different season of life. Now the baby will no longer eat from a placenta connected by an umbilical cord. Now the baby has to eat from the breast. So he moves them from a placenta, eating through an umbilical cord, getting it directly from the breast. And so, but they won't do that forever either. That's just the season that they're on. They're on the breast for the season until they are weaned. And when you are weaned, it is a sign that God is bringing you into another season of your life. This is what God was doing with the children of Israel. He had just been raining down manna, their food, every day. Can you imagine what a blessing that was, not to have to cook? You could just send the children, go out there, baby, and get lunch. Go out there on the porch and pick up the lunch. Go out there in the yard and get our dinner. You could go out in the morning. Can you imagine not having to wash any pots and pans? Not having to use your dishwasher, but just going out, sending somebody out in the yard to get breakfast and lunch and dinner, and for that day. And that's what God will do, but he would only do that for a season. See, that was a miracle. Miracles are temporary, blessings are permanent. And so God will wean you. He will wean you just like he weans the baby off of the umbilical cord when it is birthed, and then he weans them off of the breast after a certain period of time, and now they've got to start eating table food. It's not a sign of punishment, it's a sign of growth. And so you come to a place and a point in life when God will change the way that you eat. He will change how you eat. He'll change the way that you are fed and all of that. But what you discover is that as you grow, you eat differently. As you grow, you eat differently. It's time for a shift. When God gets ready to take you into another season of life, it's time for a change of attitude. Your attitude is just like a flat tire. You're not going anywhere until you change it. And there are some people that's trying to roll with God, and they're still bitter over stuff that happened, over who hurt them, who did them wrong. Listen, the people that hurt you and did you wrong ain't thinking about you. I'm just telling you the truth. Some of you all are telling people your problems, and half of them don't care. And the other half, glad you got the problem. You have to come to a place in God where you say, God, I want you to do this thing in me. You have your way in me. You live this thing in my life. You do something that's real. But I want you to realize that as you're going into this next season, every new season demands that you trust God, that you walk with God in a total different way. You have to depend upon him. Because every time you come into a new season, it's a new beginning. And in the beginning, God. In the beginning, God. Because, Lord, I'm in a place in my life, I've never been here before. You've been my help in generations past and ages past, and my hope for years to come. I don't know what my future holds, but I know who holds my future. And I'm trusting you, God. I've got to walk this road because I walked it with some other folks, and now those folks are thinned out. Some people have died. They've left me. But God, you're still with me. You still have left my calling intact. You've left my purpose intact. You've left my destiny intact. But it's a new season. It is a new season. You shifted me. I didn't realize that I would have to go this leg of the journey alone. But there are some places that you come just like Jacob. And he had to send his wife and his children on. And Jacob was all alone. And it was in that time that he was alone that Jacob wrestled with God. And God changed his name and changed his identity of where he had been identifying himself based on his past. Remember that your past does not define you, your past prepares you. God will use the stuff that has happened in your past to make a glorious future for you, because you're in a shift now. There's some stuff that God has taken off of your menu. The drugs, the alcohol, the pornography. I'm sorry to tell you, it's off the menu. The stuff that got you messed up because you were out of balance with it, God has taken it off the menu. There are some people in this season that God has taken off the menu. He's put a block on them. He'll cause it to be unfriended. Sometimes he has to let them block us because we didn't have the strength to walk away. But you've got to make a resolve in your heart to say, God, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know where this is going to lead me ultimately, but I trust you. I trust you. I'm going to train and trust. Train and trust. I'm going to prepare myself as best as I can, and I'm going to seek you in all of my ways, God. I'm going to trust you. I'm going to trust you. I'm going to go with you, God. I'm going with you in this next season. It's going to be a great season because God is there. And you're going to be fed on a whole nother level. But the manna is off the menu.